Hey guys, I want to run you through a tape for what we call patellofemoral pain. That's more of your kind of generalized knee pain. Maybe they've had a bit of a knock or they've just had some like insidious pain come on over a period of time without necessarily an injury. Now, there's a relatively simple version of this that you can do, which only uses a few strips of tape, which can be good for short, maybe like a walk or a hike or something like that. But if you're getting them into more high level sport where they're going to be running, jumping, bending down, picking things up, sweating a lot, comes off really quickly. So the tape that I'm going to do today is actually going to look pretty full on, but it's relatively simple from a concept point of view. Now, we're going to start with an anchor at the top and the bottom, like we have in the past with multiple other tapes. Same idea with these ones. We're going to do that with no tension on that at all. It's just a wrap to give us somewhere to work from for the rest of the tape. Just above, just below the knee, nothing kind of too technical about where they are. We just don't want them to be miles above or miles below so that we have to use kilometers of tape as we go. Now, I'll get you to straighten your leg out from here. Tape will get a little bit crinkly, that's okay. And then we're going to do a couple of other small anchors along the side of the knee, either side. So we'll do one on the inside and one on the outside. And the idea will be that using all of this as a base, we are then going to be able to provide a bit of support for the kneecap, pulling it in that way, and sometimes even putting a bit of pressure down on it, which can be very nice. So we're going to use a little technique that is quite interesting, but quite effective. You can put a fair bit of tension on it when you do it this way. So we're going to start on the inside, not go the whole way over, and go to the outside edge of the kneecap, and then roll that tape back on itself. And then we're going to run a longer strip that's going to cover the whole side. Start that one from the outside, and then we're going to attach that to the piece of tape that we've laid on over on itself. Now, what we have now is leverage, and we can pull that kneecap over and put a bit of pressure down on it. Now, it doesn't have to be too tight. We still want them to be able to move their knee a little bit, but you can get a little bit more pressure on it than you would with just pulling the tape straight over, and you're also not going to get too much of that kind of tape stickiness rubbing on that kneecap as you go. Now, overlay by about half or a third, depending on how big the person's knee is. You can do 2 or 3 strips. I'm just going to do 2 for this. And you're just going to repeat that process. Now, because this does cover so much more of the knee and we're working from a few more anchors, we're actually going to be able to keep this tape on for a full match, hopefully. Get nice and sweaty, have no issue with that at all. So then, once we've done those working strips, we're pulling that kneecap across, we're just going to lock the tape off on the sides. And I want you to bend your knee up a little bit for me. Excellent. And we'll do one more top and bottom as well. Now, as I mentioned at the start, it does look like a pretty extensive tape. And that's just because we do get a lot of movement at the knee for most sports. So it's really important that we're taking that into account when we're taping that joint. Because there's nothing worse than having to retape an individual every quarter time break, every half time break.